Housewives. Stick around. So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRmedia.com. Stop by and check it out. There are more than 500 archived celebrity interviews there for your listening pleasure. The show is brought to you today by thepartyauthority.us. Planning a wedding, mitzvah, or corporate event? For any and all occasions, call the Party Authority nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs. That's 1-800-342-5357, where one call does it all. So where was I before the commercial? Oh yeah, Mr. Media is recorded live from the new media capital of the world and home of Lie to Me star Monica Raymond, St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, I don't know about you, but I've enjoyed a lifetime of lovable old lady neighbors who mix sweetness and wisdom with a bit of a loose screw. Growing up, it was Mrs. Snyder, whose lawn I mowed and had to meticulously dethatch every week because she couldn't stand to have a blade of old dead grass in it. When I reached high school, imagine my surprise to discover she would be my guidance counselor and have life or death influence over whether I made it into a good college or a bad college. And when I became a homeowner, the seller warned my wife and I about the old lady across the street. He said she watched everyone on the block from her living room window and wouldn't hesitate to call the police if we stepped even slightly out of line. Fortunately, her daughter and caretaker, Mrs. Logan, then 65, it's 20 years ago, was nothing like her mother and became a trusted friend. But what would you make of discovering Mrs. McClusky as your next-door neighbor on Wisteria Lane? As played by two-time Emmy Award-winning actress Kathryn Joosten on the long-running ABC dramedy Desperate Housewives, she might be your best friend, babysitter, confidant, or worst nightmare. Sometimes all at the same time, as you'll see and hear in this clip from a recent episode.
Hey, what is going on with you two?
I don't want to get into it.
Well, whatever it is, you need to work it out. We are caroling at the festival on Saturday, and we can't have two of our jingle bells fighting.
You know, if you need a replacement, I've been told that I have a dusky alto.
No way. Girls only. We're the jingle bells, not the jingle balls.
Shouldn't you be out stealing the last can of Who Hash?
You want to see me go all Grinch on your ass?
To be honest, Bree, I don't think I'm going to be able to sing with Lynette after she was...
After she what? Are you about to trash me?
I have way too much class to trash you, no matter how much you deserve it.
Merry Christmas to me. What did she do?
She's suing Carlos.
You're suing him?
Because he fired me.
He fired her?
Because she lied about being pregnant.
You're pregnant? With twins.
You knew?
I told her to keep it quiet.
Congratulations.
Oh, sure, take her side.
She's not.
Stop fighting. I mean, with all we've been through lately, Julie being attacked, Danny Boland's overdose, we really need some Christmas spirit around here.
Susan's right.
This is the time we should come together and celebrate peace on earth and goodwill towards men and... Oh, crap. Who's dead now?
On Saturday, June 26th, Kathryn Joosten will take a break from all of that to be the celebrity guest host of Acme Saturday Night at the Acme Comedy Theater in Los Angeles. Showtime is 7 p.m. Pacific. Studio tickets are $10 online, $15 at the door. You can order tickets or watch the show live online for free at acmecomedy.com. Kathryn Joosten, welcome to Mr. Media.
Well, thank you very much. That's quite an intro.
Maybe I should quit now, huh?
Well, I'm writing down acmecomedy.com because I didn't know what the website was. Oh. And, of course, my kids don't live in L.A., so...
Very good. Oh, so that's great. See, you're giving a great example of how anyone can watch the show from anywhere.
They won't watch it. They don't watch anything I'm in.
Why is that?
Well, you know, I finally pinned them to the wall and said, you know, come on, why? And they said, you know, because you're my mother. They didn't grow up with me being an actress. They didn't grow up with me being, quote unquote, funny. They grew up with me being just mom. and they were in high school before I even started, so it's uncomfortable for them to think of to have me playing characters. Would you want to see your mom running around playing something nutty and grouchy?
I got that all the time with her. What would be the difference?
It's normal for my kids, too. And the fact that I paid for it, they think, I lucked out.
Well,
Anyhow, they don't stuff.
And it could be worse. I mean, I saw, or maybe not, I shouldn't say worse, but it could be more challenging. I saw today that Helen Mirren, 65, posed nude for New York Magazine this week.
Are you putting me on?
No, I kid you not. In a bathtub, nonetheless.
Well, okay, how much shows? A few shoulders? Some knees?
No, think lower.
Really?
Yeah,
got her
really.
Titties out there?
I'm sorry?
I said she's got her titties out there?
Yes, she does.
Have you seen the picture?
I did just this afternoon. It's online at, I think it's newyorkmag.com, something like that.
Does it look good?
She, I got to say, I mean, she looks great for, not even for her age. She looks great for, 15, 20 years younger.
And she's had to have work because there's no woman 60. She's got kids. No woman 65. What's this website again?
I think it's New York Magazine. It might be newyorkmag.com or newyorkmagazine.com.
Oh, okay. Because no woman who's had kids and is that age has firm breasts anymore.
No, I didn't necessarily say they were firm, but she looks, she looks pretty good, I got to say. So, I mean, but, your kids they don't have that to worry about at least, right? I mean, you're not doing that kind of thing.
No, the worst I ever did, I had a bed scene with my supposed husband, Roy, in one of the shows. I mean, it's typical marriage. He's sleeping and I'm looking at him. And that was that was the extent of it. And they wanted me to wear a nightie, a flannel nightie.
Uh-huh.
And I said, why would I do that if we just got it on? It wouldn't be in a nightie, And I thought you'd be more, that kind of thing. So.
Well, let me change gears a little bit. I wanted to ask you. In the introduction, I talked a lot about neighbors like Mrs. McClusky, and I wondered, did Mrs. McClusky herself, have you ever had that kind of neighbor?
I'm trying to think. I had a neighbor who was Alzheimer'd, and when my dog ran on her lawn, she would come charging out of the house shrieking that she was going to kill us. That was a little fun. And but other than that, no, I've always had a really good shot with neighbors. I've been very lucky with them. My neighbors back in Lake Forest, literally we had something like 20-some kids living on one block. And it was one of those, one kid falls down and 7 mothers faint. And so we were all we took care of each other and took care of each other's kids. And, it was good. So I've never had bad neighbors. Not yet.
Well, there's always time. Give it a chance. Kathy, when you joined Desperate Housewives, did you worry about getting enough storylines, enough time? Trying to find a way in there with Terry Hatcher, Eva Longoria, the whole group. I mean, was that ever an issue?
When I first joined it, it was only going to be a 1 or 2 time thing. It was not. First of all, I was not a regular. When I first went on the show, what was it, 5 years ago now? I was a guest star, and I anticipated that I would be an occasional presence on the street since I was in the beginning. Well, let's see. The first episode, I was chewing out Lynette because her kids were stealing, and that was about going to be it. And then I went back that season and began babysitting for the kids. And I thought, okay, this pretty much confirms that I'm going to be around for a little bit. And then it went on, and I was there more and more. I never had any roles in which I compete with the ladies.
Right.
There's never been any scenarios in that. I'm usually bad-mouthing one or another of them to their face. And we had a wonderful time. Nicolette Sheridan and I spent one whole season throwing barbs at each other. which was great fun. And they wouldn't let us do the ones that we wanted to do, you know, the really rough ones. So I never thought of it that way. And now that I'm regular this year, but I don't think anything will change. It'll just be me walking around throwing barbs at somebody, and you know, we'll see. We'll see what they want to do.
Will it be tough?
I don't get to approve the scripts or anything, you know.
No, I understand. Will it be more difficult for you now that Nicola Sheridan is off the show?
No, because I'll find somebody else for me to be bitchy with.
Mm.
I mean, that's part of the conflict. This year, what's her name? Vanessa Williams is coming on.
Mm.
She's, I believe, coming into the role of the resident bitch. So I think she and I might have words at one time or another, or we'll become great buddies, one or the other, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's coming into the role that Drea Matteo had last year.
Yeah, except you know, I never had one scene with Drea.
Hmm.
Yeah, we were barely there the same days. So it's kind of interesting.
Interesting how each year they bring someone into that role, and yet it's never quite as satisfying as the role as the storylines for everyone else. At least that's what I've seen. I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm how do I put this politely? I really can't speak openly about the value of the storylines since that's my boss.
Right, I understand, and
everybody else does now too.
Well, we have to take a quick break. We want to come back and talk to you about Acme Saturday Night and also some other things. But folks, this is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media radio interview with Emmy Award-winning actress Kathryn Joosten, one of the stars of ABC's Desperate Housewives. We'll be right back.
Hey, did you know that you can listen to the latest Mr. Media on your phone with the Stitcher app? Stitcher is smart radio for your smartphone. Mr. Media is on demand and on the go with Stitcher. Download Stitcher for your phone today. Get the free download at Stitcher.com. That's STITCHER.com.
I wasn't going to school because I was just making money stealing cars. And one day I was put into juvie for 2 stolen cars, robbery of a house, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, you know, nobody cared. I mean, I was on drugs, and my mom didn't really care because she was on drugs. She was never home.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out. And now that I'm 15, I have 2 babies.
I was heading nowhere. I just thought the only way I can make something out of my life is that if I get an education. One day I was locked up. That's when I really realized that, I mean, it wasn't for me. Like, I was only in there 2 months, but to me, that was enough. It'd be better for me to stay in school, just get my education.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself.
Stay in school. Give yourself a chance.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media radio interview with Emmy Award-winning actress Kathryn Joosten, one of the stars of ABC's Desperate Housewives. Kathy, for a woman who didn't come to Hollywood until I think her mid-40s, you've had 2 remarkable dramatic runs. First on The West Wing as President Bartlett's secretary, Mrs. Landingham, and now as Mrs. McClusky on Desperate Housewives. What do you think it is about you that speaks so loudly and clearly to directors?
Well, wow. I like that idea. I didn't get here until I was 55, as a matter of fact.
Oh, my. I missed 10 years.
Yeah, but that's okay. What is it? I have told youngsters this. I wasn't afraid to fail. I mean, it never occurred to me that I would have this kind of success. And I thought, well, you know, if it doesn't work, I can always go back to being a bartender, which I was doing in Florida, or hanging wallpaper, which I was doing prior to that. And it was sort of like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I'll try it. And if it doesn't work, what doesn't work? And so I didn't have to define myself by being an actor, as youngsters often try to do. It's what you do, not who you are, you know, any more than, I don't know, an insurance man is not that's not who he is, it's what he does. Mm-hmm. So that, I didn't have that problem. I had done some selling. I sold advertising on my way up the ladder, and so auditioning was to me the same as selling. I had a product. You want to buy it? I'll give you my best interpretation of what you're looking for, and if you want to buy it, fine. If you don't, I'll move on to something else. So my attitude about it was not do or die, and quite frankly, I was very, very lucky. I can tell you why I got the West Wing job, and it will sound crazy, but it's true. I had auditioned for the casting director of that show. I auditioned for a role on that medical one, ER, a couple of years prior. And the role was for somebody who had hysterical blindness. And having been a psychiatric nurse, I knew that one of the characteristics of people with hysterical diseases is that they are totally comfortable with it. They're not panicked because, of course, whatever the hysteria is has taken care of the problem. You know, if you don't believe you can walk and you don't need, or blind or whatever. So they're very comfortable, and they talk about it very easily. Yeah, I'm blind, I can't see. So I did the role that way. He said, oh, my God, she's brilliant, she's wonderful. Well, not I was brilliant and wonderful, but I knew exactly what was happening with the character. So when I got called to do the West Wing, or the audition for it, it was for the part of an executive secretary. Now, I did not know it was the West Wing in the White House. I thought it had to do with the Air Force in California. So I didn't put any real importance to it, but I had been working as a cater waiter, and for a company, 3 times a week I took their executive lunch to them and set it up and served it. And I worked through their executive secretary, this gal, Susan, and she was wonderful, and I copied her when I auditioned for the role of this secretary. That's what I thought it was, an executive secretary. And so I thought, well, I can do that because I've seen Sue do this so much and worked with her. I know exactly how she addresses her boss. So I just did what she did. And it turned out that that's what they wanted. So each time it wasn't a life or death, oh, my God, I've got to get this part and all that. It was like, well, I'll try this and see how it works, and or I'll try that, and or I know how to do this, or I know how to do that. So, and I also only get auditioned for roles, excuse me, that are appropriate to me. I will never play the Queen of England. I will never play a dowager woman with big mansion house. Those are just things that I'll never be asked to do. I'll never be asked to play a concert violinist. There are parts that are never going to be something I could do. I envy those actors who can become others and do so. And it's just, Meryl Streep is unbelievable in her ability to become other people. Johnny Depp does the same thing. The rest of us are just who we are. We're just playing different characters.
Now, you will have the opportunity to be different, how's this for a segue, to be different people this Saturday night at Acme Saturday Night at Acme Comedy Theater. What have the writers cooked up for you? Can you give us a little tease?
I said that was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, at Acme, this is going to be fun. I've never done sketch comedy like this. I was in there today filming something that goes up as part of the show, and then I had a rehearsal. We got another big, long day on Saturday, and then we do it. And I was just about to download the 4 scripts that they decided to do, and thinking I have to get these memorized. And then they told me that there's going to be monitors. I was like, well, shit, no one ever. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
It's okay.
I didn't know there was going to be, monitors, and no one told me. Now, I don't have to memorize all this stuff, which I was really getting kind of nervous about. But it'll be great fun.
Well, will Mrs. McClusky or Mrs. Landingham, for that matter, show up in any sketches?
What?
Will Mrs. Landingham or Mrs. McClusky show up in any of the sketches?
I'm not getting the last part of your sentence.
I'm wondering if in any of the sketches that you're doing, if
No, I won't do one on either of those. We will touch on Housewives.
Oh, okay.
We will touch on it and do that. In a I'm not going to tell you how, but we will, and that'll be fun.
Okay.
And no, the others have nothing to do with any of those characters.
Okay.
It'll be just great fun.
Now, from what I read, you started in community theater. That's how this whole career of you started. So, were you comfortable going back? Are you comfortable going back live on Saturday?
Oh, sure. You know, when I first got out to L.A., I belonged to a theater here. You know, you can join these. You join theaters here. You become a member, pay dues. That's how they keep themselves going. And I did theater here. As a matter of fact, I won an award doing Ladies of the Corridor. It's called an Ovations Award, and it's the theatrical award given in Los Angeles. It's like the Jefferson in Chicago, or I forgot what the one in New York is called. I did theater. I enjoyed theater. I'm not so sure I'm big on it now, simply because of the tremendous workload that it is. I'm lazy. Television is a whole lot easier than theater, and we have such a big crew that it feels like you're performing in front of people anyhow. So I don't have a need to say, "Oh, I've got to have an audience in front of me," you know. Although I do understand actors who do thoroughly enjoy doing theater. Orson Bean, who plays my husband on the show, is doing a play even as we speak. And he did one last year. Has more energy than I've got.
Well, folks, on Saturday, June 26th, Kathryn Joosten will be the celebrity guest host of Acme Saturday Night at the Acme Comedy Theater in Los Angeles. Showtime is 7 p.m. Pacific, and studio tickets are $10 online, $15 at the door. You can order tickets or watch the show live online free at acmecomedy.com. And, of course, don't miss Kathryn every Sunday night on ABC's hit series, Desperate Housewives. And her website is Kathryn Joosten, JOOSTEN.com. Kathryn, a lot of fun having you here. Delightful woman. I'm so grateful for you to make the time to do our show.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being a guest.
Thank you. Have a great time on Saturday, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And folks, for more original interviews with your favorite TV stars, you can surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. And please take advantage of this great offer for Mr. Media radio listeners. Go to audiblepodcast.com/mrmedia to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, that's audiblepodcast.com/mrmedia for your free audiobook. Subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes and subscribe for free. You can also follow me on Facebook or Twitter, twitter.com/Andelman, or search Mr. Media on Facebook. Thanks so much for listening. Appreciate your time. Always a pleasure to have you here. Come back again real soon. Bye, everybody.
Chatabout.com is the place to listen to new and exciting talk shows. Listen live.